So I started Improving Birth in 2000, I started the process of starting Improving Birth in 2011. We had a hospital here. I'm from San Diego. I was working as a doula for several years. I think probably I was about seven years in by then, 8 years in as being a birth and postpartum doula. So I'd seen a lot of births already. I think I'd done about 300 births by then. And as a lot of people in maternity care, was pretty frustrated with what I was seeing happening unnecessarily in a lot of cases, I felt. And then a nurse actually leaked a report from one of our local hospitals, and they had an 80% cesarean rate on Thursdays and Fridays. And obviously, they did have some valid reasoning for that. They've delivered some of the smallest babies in the world. People come who have, so they're what is it called? A level 1.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, so some of that is explainable, but in the reality is, even without that, they had a 43%, between 43 and 45% C-section rate. So with that information, actually then, in addition to that, the editor of a major newspaper here, he runs we have the Weekly Reader, and it's a weekly paper. So it's a big, thick magazine-like thing that they do every week. Anyways, and they had their baby at Sharp Mary Birch, and the doctor came in and said to the dad, well, it's a good thing so-and-so, who was their doctor, isn't here, because you would have had a cesarean by now. And the guy from the Reader immediately said, why? Is there something wrong with my wife? And he said, oh no, it's because it's after 5:00. He said this flippantly to the wrong person. And we had originally planned a protest, frankly, a protest in front of the hospital after we learned about that, about the 80% cesarean rate. We had it all organized, we had it planned, and unfortunately, the tsunami hit in Sri Lanka. And as you can imagine, it would be the worst possible time to try and go out there and demonstrate about high cesarean rates when, hundreds of people had died in a tragedy. So we canceled it. Well, fast forward 2 years later to this reporter. And his reporter that he put on the story, because he said, I want to do a story on this about unnecessary cesareans. And he put his reporter on it, and she was referred to me. And so I spent 3 months with her writing an article and putting her with families and so on. They requested a response from the hospital. The hospital just disregarded it, not understanding the magnitude of this article that was about to come out. It wound up being the front page cover story and a 5-page spread.
Wow.
It was significant, and it was very damaging to the hospital. Wow. I organized a rally because I knew that the article was going to come out. And so I had a marketing and PR background. And so I knew that this was a great opportunity to get some real legs on this, knowing that this article was going to come out. So I organized an event here, and I created a video slideshow, the whole 9 yards, and started promoting it. Well, within 24 hours after the video being put out, I got a call from the hospital, from the CEO of the hospital. And she said, we'd like to talk to you. At this point, they still had no idea that this article was coming out. And so I agreed to the meeting, and my girlfriend and I went, and we originally were told that we would be meeting with the head of nursing and the head of, and the CEO. Well, of course, the head of OB, the head of nursing, and their lawyer were in the meeting. And I wasn't prepared for a meeting like that at that point. I was a doula. I didn't have the facts. I didn't have everything if I could do that meeting over right now, I'll tell you what, it would be a very different conversation, very different. And anyways, and I said, there's an article that's coming out, and they said, oh, still no clue to the extent. And the meeting was okay. It wasn't ideal. They sent I have a couple people who work at the hospital and friends, and they actually sent a letter out to their entire staff, basically saying, like, this group is going to be organizing. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. And then the article came out. Yeah. And so we had a pretty good turnout. It was unfortunately, you know how it is, that you never get to know when they're going to release an article. You don't have control over when they release it. We did it in the summertime, and they didn't release it until the week before Christmas. So the week before Christmas, we had 75 people show up outside of the hospital with their, mamas and their kids. And we got every press outlet came and did a story. So they were in a pretty serious situation to have to do damage control. Anyways, during that planning process, the girlfriend who was helping me plan it, she said, wouldn't this be great if we could do this all over the country, all on the same day? And I was like, that would be amazing. And so that was it. I mean, it was like the seed had been planted. And in late 2011, December of 2011, I started planning the Rally to Improve Birth for our first year for Labor Day. And so we have continued each year on Labor Day to do that. Our first year, we had 110 locations in 46 states.
Wow.
And all of the locations did rallies in front of hospitals. We moved away from that in later years because, the reality was it was super confrontational. It wasn't meant to be. It was meant to raise awareness. It was never meant to be confrontational. The march at Sharp Mary Birch, don't get me wrong, that was meant to be confrontational. Yeah. But, I recognize that it was more about raising awareness than it was about being confrontational with the hospitals. And because I think it started coming across that we were anti-hospital, anti-doctor, which is just absolutely not true. We are pro-women, and we are pro that we can do better, that there are definitely ways that we can make a difference that would change a lot of things as far as outcomes go. So we did the rally, and we've done it each year. And there's a big backstory to March for Moms. John Jennings, who was the former ACOG president, this will probably have your jaw on the floor. He was the former ACOG president, and he actually took the idea of having a march for moms in DC to the board of ACOG, that ACOG be the one to host an event. Wow. Because they were, struggling with getting folks to necessarily go with the recommendations that ACOG had put out for their followers, and they really wanted to get the consumers involved. And so he had seen the Rally to Improve Birth and thought that ACOG could lead something in DC to make it and really start pushing for some legislation and real change and engage people like ACOG, right, and get all the health organizations involved. Well, the board did not approve that idea, and a couple years later, he connected with Ginger Breedlove, who is also recently the president of ACNM. She stepped down now a year and a half ago, but or she finished her term a year and a half ago. So the two of them, at a dinner, how those things go, right? At a dinner, and Ginger decided to take it on, and because of John's connections, and then she brought Neil in, Dr. Neil Shaw. If you guys don't know who that is, please go look him up. It's NeelShah. He is an obstetrician and professor at Boston, and he's incredible. And go follow him on Twitter. His current Twitter feed will make you want to just copy and paste all over the place. So he he brought them in, and then decided to go for it and create this association, which then could, because of all their contacts, they were able to bring in ACOG and A1 and ABC and C. I mean, you name it, everybody's joined in the ranks. White Ribbon Alliance just joined us. So anyways, and then she came to me because she's like, we need your experience in these, in the Raleigh area. And we are hopeful that you'll join the board and be a founding member of March for Moms. And I was literally chomping at the bit. Are you kidding me? It's like, she had all the contacts and all the connections that I wished I had, And so, and I had what she needed. I had the consumers and the understanding of what it takes to run an event of this nature. So that's what we did. So we combined efforts. And last year, we didn't do a rally to improve birth last year because I was entirely focused on this DC event in March for Moms.
Right.
And we were in the process of rebranding and everything. So we did not do a rally this last summer, but that was intentional. So we moved our rally to improve birth that is normally during Labor Day, and we moved it to conjoin with March for Moms event leading to Mother's Day. And I hope to do that every year, from this point forward, until it's not necessary, which would be amazing. Mm-hmm. So that is the history, little quick history lesson on improving birth and March for Moms. And so I'm going to just I'd like you guys to just kind of introduce yourselves and just a little housekeeping. If you don't know Zoom, down in the left corner, there's a microphone and a video. You guys have it pretty much figured out. I think, Rebecca, as long as you know how to unmute yourself, and Michelle, can't see you, and that's okay. But if you want to click your unmute button to participate and ask questions, that would be awesome. And I don't know who else is here. We've got somebody else on a 515 number, and please, the same thing. Maybe just unmute, and let's just go though. Anne, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell me where you're at, what city, and what city you're anticipating holding a rally at.
I'm in Littleton, Colorado. So I am a birth doula, and I'm a birth doula trainer. I'm a former board member with Dona International. So I have met both Neil Shaw and Ginger Breedlove. I doubt they remember me, but I have met them, and I've heard them at conferences, Lamaze and both Dona conferences. So I have a little bit of background there. And yes, the cause is great. I know Dona sponsored the March for Moms last year, and I believe they're doing so again this year.
Yeah, they're actually sponsoring the Hill briefing.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking, I know nothing about organizing a rally. I would love to participate. And I did put out, like I said, I'm a birth doula trainer, so I've got a lot of students in my area, and I did put it out in our group, like who would want to help. And I got like 5 people.
Nice.
Who were interested. And I talked to one gal who has organized things like this before, and we just got to talking about there's so much involved and there's so little time.
Yes.
I was trying to let's put it on the burner for next year, and really get our ducks in a row, because like I said, it's completely new to me. I'm willing, I'm here, and I'm willing, but boy, I need hand holding because I'm not my normal realm.
I get that. All right. Well, I'll address all those fears in a minute. Rebecca, go ahead. Tell me where you're at and stuff.
Okay. Hi. Thanks for doing this.
Sure.
I'm in Kirkland, Washington, which is east of Seattle, and I'm kind of passionate about the east side, but also, I opened it up to our, birth professionals group, and there's people from around the area, so Seattle or east side. But I'm a childbirth educator, a birth and postpartum doula, all kinds of things, infant massage instructor, but I kind of combine my all my knowledge into one-on-one coaching starting in the conception period. So that's my passion, is to get people as prepared as possible for the journey from even before pregnancy, for things that we don't even know we need to do. Right? Pelvic floor, what's that?
So are you thinking of putting an event on in Seattle?
So I think Seattle would probably be better than the east side.
We had somebody ask who joined yesterday who wants to put on an event in Seattle also.
Who was it?
I don't know. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. I didn't have it written down, but
okay.
She's messaged us again this morning and was wanting us to put a call out for support. So for helpers. So maybe what we'll do is just connect the two of you. And
that would be great, because kind of like Anne was saying, I'm not sure if I have bandwidth to do this right now. And
yeah,
I'm going to be presenting at the ICEA conference, and just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much time it's going to take and everything. I did get, I think 3 people are interested in helping.
Okay, great. All right. Michelle, you want to go ahead?
Hi guys. I'm Michelle Friesen. I'm a birth doula and childbirth educator. I'm out here in Lancaster, Southern California.
Yes.
We're organizing, I've never done this before, but I'm assisting a midwife who's organizing an expo style sister event.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so new to this. I don't even have any questions. I'm just trying to gather information because we're trying to get everything together. So
no problem. Okay, cool. I used to live in Lancaster, by the way.
Oh, how funny. Small world.
Yeah. Yeah. About in the boonies, but I used to live there. I used to live on 90th Street East, if that tells you anything.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is out in the boonies.
Yeah, really far out in the boonies. Okay. Ashley, go ahead. Can we hear you? No. All right. I'll just move on. If you figure, I don't see that you're muted. It shows that you're unmuted. So there might be something else going on in your end. And then who's on the 515 area code? I can unmute you. There you go. There you go.
That's SEO. I apologize. I joined the video chat. My computer doesn't have video.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool.
It's actually SEO. I am from Des Moines, Iowa. I'm a birth doula and a childbirth educator. I work for a nonprofit. We're a feminist organization called the Young Women's Resource Center.
Nice.
And we're ready to throw a Mom's Night Out event in May. It's May 4th. And of course, I found the information on this through Jonah's website. And we are really interested in it. We serve young women 21 and under. So a lot of the things you stand for are issues that are affecting our clients. And yeah, I guess I came on to get some more information. And also, we'd love to organize. I know there's an organization in Kansas City happening, so not too far away from us.
Yeah.
We really wanted to see how our event could be a place where people could come to get information. We're not sure if we're going to have the capacity to do a rally. Being a nonprofit, I've kind of been shut down as far as staff time with that.
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely want to get the word out. We want to be a support. So really, I'm here to learn how we can do that and make our event, kind of coincide with that.
Okay, cool. Well, let me start by telling you that there's still plenty of time to, I can tell you that I'd like you to just think about how quickly the Women's March came together in cities all over the world in a matter of a month. And the March for Our Lives march that just happened this weekend, these types of events can be put together quickly, especially if people are working together. So the timing, we still have 6 weeks as of yesterday. And I think that there is a variation of types of events that you can have. And you can have an event where people are just walking around the block with some signs. It can be as simple as that. And it's about the biggest purpose for this event is to get media attention in your community. Because although it might get a story, there might be a march in, the way the media works. There might be a march in Seattle, right? And there isn't one in Portland. You're not going to see it likely in Portland that anything even happened. And so unless our march in DC gets mainstream media attention, which it might, but it doesn't always happen, then that's the way that the media learns and the people in your community learn is about any of it, is if you hold an event in your community and you get the media to show up. That's how you reach the most people. It's not even important about how many people you have at your event. It looks better for the press. If you have a group of, 40, 50, 75 people, that's amazing. We've had some locations that literally had 8 people, and we've had locations that have had 400 people. So the point is that you are joining this collective, right? It's about the collective. It's not necessarily just about your location. We supply everything that we possibly could think of. We've been doing this for 6 years. The Rally Handbook is literally 26 pages long. It's a little bit overwhelming, but it has everything that you could possibly need. We also are, we do want people to do fundraising. It's, it supports our organization. It supports the fees of running this event. This is not an inexpensive event. I mean, the event in DC alone with this, but they're doing a big thing. But I mean, it's like over $50,000 to run the event in DC. So, but we have staging and lighting and it's the whole kit and caboodle. But we do ask people to fundraise, and we give you the tools to do that. And it's really about just like if you were to do the March of Dimes walk, right? Or the breast cancer walk. They give you a team fundraising page. We have the same thing. You build a team fundraising page, you ask your friends, your family to contribute to this cause, or both. You also have the opportunity to engage other birth professionals in your community, like anyone that's going to touch women during pregnancy, and invite them to be sponsors. Invite them just to put bag drops, because if you sign up, you get an event kit. The event kit includes postcards, 100 postcards, which is like just a marketing tool. It's, just a little postcard, and it has an area where you can print out stickers so that you can put your location information on there. And you go to the local boutiques or businesses, a chiropractor's office, like whatever, where you can put those postcards out to let people know that it's happening. You also get handouts for the actual event day. So when we ask you to pick a location that is high foot traffic. So a park is a great spot to do it, where there's moms around with their kids, and they can come over. And if you choose to do sponsors where you have a place where people can set up tables and stuff, so you have a birth doula in your community that wants to come and market herself, she can pay the $75 to have a table there and market her business. All of our coordinators, by the way, get free marketing. So you automatically get to drop any of your information. Oh, the other thing that you get is a goodie bag. And this year we have really nice bags. They're orange, nylon bags with the March for Moms logo on them. They can be used as grocery bags and, whatever. And so we have 3 national sponsors where they will have either bag drops or samples in the bag already when you get them. And then if you get local sponsors near you, then they can put stuff in the bag as well. And you get 25 bags included with your registration fee. And then there's Kit B and Kit C, which just increases the amount of stuff you get with each one. But you have to commit to fundraising at least $200 to $300 at your location in order to order those big kits, larger kits with more stuff in them. But even the initial kit's pretty good. 25 bags is a nice number. For a lot of the locations, they're probably only getting close to 25 to 40 people. So having to be able to market and say, hey, we've got a goodie bag, and if you're the first 25 people to show up, get a bag, kind of thing. But it can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. And it's really about getting people to show up and getting the media to show up. And you can do that in a matter of days. I mean, look at how, if you just planned an event where you're just walking around the block with a bunch of signs, you could just put that call out to your doula sisters, right? Your, birth professionals, and say, hey, we need to get the media attention out to be in support of this event, and that's it. And you can do that in a week's time. So 6 weeks is plenty of time to still get sponsors and have a nice family event, where we also create coloring pages for kids. So you can put up a coloring station for kiddos, because we want people to bring their kids. You know, we want this to be a family friendly event. I'm trying to think of like some of the other things. When you look at I'm going to just see what I have up here real quick.
Well, and I had a question.
Yeah, go for it.
How do you, a couple things. So if we were to do a park, I'm thinking of someplace like in Denver. When you
Yeah.
Don't we have to reserve that with the state?
You can. Yeah. I mean, in some cases you do have to do that. And you know, that might be an issue for you as far as timing, but that's one of the things that you just have to figure out, like where you're going to be. And typically they're pretty good about, well, it depends on the city, honestly, but they're pretty good about turning it around for small events pretty quickly, at least in our experience.
And
But we also, one of the things that we take care of is liability insurance. So we've covered that expense. So if your location requires liability insurance, all you have to do, we have an email address that you just email the request to, and we send you a liability certificate for the city. Whatever typically it's $1 million is what the minimum is $1 million, and that's what we carry.
Okay. And then how do you get the media there? Do you call them in advance and say,
yeah, we give you everything. We have, so I'll just show you this really quickly. Hold on. Let me, I don't think I have it. Just give me a second and I'll screen share with you guys, but I want to get the window open first so you're not watching me do all the navigation. Okay, so I'll show you real quick. So this is our document control area on the website. When you sign up and you get approved, you get you create a login for yourself. Mm-hmm. And this is our document control area, and it's everything. I mean, it's rare that people ever come up with something that we don't already have. So you can download our nonprofit letter. And by the way, the thing that I say is, like, if you need anything from an expense standpoint at your location, start with sponsors first. Walmart almost always will donate waters. If you walk in there with your nonprofit letter, the nonprofit letter and an in-kind letter, which we give you also. We give you an in-kind letter. All you do, we give you guys everything in that is editable. So these here, can you guys see this? You guys can see my screen, right? So here's your sponsor email. There's a letter. There's a welcome letter. There's an invitation letter to sponsors. We do the same thing for our press releases, our media alerts. We give you everything. All you have to do, these are all downloadable in this thing. Everywhere it's red, you just have to replace with your information, and obviously turn it unread. Don't leave it red. We've had people leave it red. We've just been like, where was I at? I was showing you, the website. So our logos are here available for printing stuff. We have this great quick start guide. Is it on here? No, it's not. This great quick start guide with this, which is just like a at a glance, the first 6 things you got to do, like as soon as you hit the ground running. We've got this toolkit. We've got a fundraising toolkit. It literally has, again, like everything you could possibly need. A sponsor toolkit. It gives you this is our grid for the sponsors. And basically it gives you an invitation letter to invite sponsors. These are the different options. We have a website set up so that they literally, all they have to do is you can send them an email and have them link directly to the sponsorship page, which is, let's see. I think it might actually be, let me think about this for a second. No, it's IBM. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So let me just move that. So this is our sponsor. So our sponsors, anybody like I said, I'll just use birth doulas if they wanted to market their local birth center wants to market their event. They just come here, they become a sponsor, and it takes them to our form.
So they would pay you directly. They don't pay us that we have to.
Correct. Correct. And then you guys, all the monies have to come through Improving Birth because we are a 501c3 and we're responsible, obviously, from a tax standpoint. But in-kind donations obviously are fine. So we encourage people to go for in-kind donations to cover any expense, any extra expenses that you come across. Start with getting people in your community even to donate, to say, hey, can you donate water bottles? Can you donate a microphone and a sound system if you needed it, that kind of thing. So, but anyway, so they have the option to come here. So we manage all of that stuff for you. All you have to do is send them the links. And then there's a list of reimbursable expenses. So you just send in at the end of everything there. So there will be some out-of-pocket expenses, but we have a list of things that we cover, and you just send in the reimbursement and we send you a check back. We even have everything if you wanted to try and get ceremonial documents in your community. It's this would be too tight right now, but I mean, that's the extent we go to have the day in your community called, Improving Birth Day or whatever. But here's the media. So this is the media stuff. So we provide you with a full toolkit, talking points, the media advisory. So it's already done. All you have to do again is replace the red and then get somebody on your team to just focus on media specifically, where they're reaching out to all the local media in your community. And then the media fact sheet. So you print this out the day of, and along with the press release, which isn't done yet, but once we get closer, we'll be doing the press release. And you guys just attach it with the press release and give it to the reporters when they show up. And then we have a video, training video for media on how to deal with the media and stick to talking points and stuff like that. So we also offer swag, so basically t-shirts, and you can buy the t-shirts in bulk with us, and actually sell them at your event if you choose to. And it gives you the opportunity to actually make some money for a local. You can either send the money back to Improving Birth, or you can give it to a local nonprofit, birth-related nonprofit, preferably. So if we've had like doula groups and stuff like that or ICANN groups who then will buy bulk shirts. They'll buy, we had one location just ordered 43 shirts, and they're planning to sell them at the event, and then all the proceeds are going to go to their local ICANN chapter. So we still cover our cost and make a little bit of money, and we also, then it gives us the opportunity to help other birth community organizations, which is important. So this is getting tight too, because we're printing right now, but we've ordered a lot of extras. But and then your event kit, I already mentioned. So, and you also get sign slogans. We give you the sign slogans to do. So you just got to organize a sign making party, or just send out an email to people who are attending and ask them to make a sign. And these are the sign slogans.
And the sign slogans are different phrases that we can go by.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So I'm trying to think. I think I can just pull it up. Let me see.
So what do we have? Like, I know at the March for Moms, I watched that virtually last year, and it's like they had so many speakers and presenters and music, and obviously our local events are not going to be that extravagant. Do we do more than,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't need to be that. I mean, you can have people speak, and like I said, even if you had, like I mentioned, if you just had people marching around a block, right? That's the most simple thing. Right. You could still have speakers at that event, right? Like, you know, you could be standing there in front of these people in a group of people and just start and talk and invite other people in your community that are really passionate about maternal mortality and high C-section rates, and maybe even paid maternity leave, if that's something that people are really passionate about in your community. If you are in a community where you can invite your local officials to the event, because they might be interested in this maternity leave thing and maternal mortality, and they might even be willing to come and speak. You got to just send out the invitation.
And that's in the kit?
It is.
That's in your kit.
Yeah, inviting local officials to participate, because that's the ceremonial documents too, but you can literally call your local representative's office and say, this is what we're doing, this is the event, and we would really love it if you're, and it doesn't matter if this event is bipartisan. So if
Right.
we have both Democrats and Republicans attending this event. Do you guys know much about Senator Duckworth? Have you seen this stuff about her? She's like 50 years old and pregnant, and will be the first person in the Senate to ever be pregnant.
I was like, the name is very familiar.
Yeah, she's also disabled. She has, I think it's one of her legs or both of her legs. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but she's actually she's doing a video for us to help us market the March for Moms. Unfortunately, her baby is due right around the March. Okay. So, she can't attend, but she is going to do a video for us. Mm-hmm. And we also have Judge Hatchett and her son. Judge Hatchett is a television judge. She's an African-American woman she's the African-American Judge Judy. Oh. And she has a TV show. Her daughter-in-law died last year in childbirth, from hemorrhage. And she unfortunately was bleeding internally for hours before they caught it, and it was too late, even though they were saying there was something wrong. So Charles is he's Judge Hatchett's son, and he's both Judge Hatchett and he are going to be speakers at our event in DC. We are currently in talks with several other celebrities, Serena Williams being one of them, Jessica Alba. Nancy Kerrigan, I'm pretty sure, is going to speak about postpartum depression. So any local event that you hold is going to benefit from what's going on in DC. And we are planning to spend quite a bit of money on marketing in the local, reaching moms locally in each community that has an event. So we're going to do marketing specific to each city located. So hopefully you'll get some attention just from that alone.
Now, one question too, because I want to watch the March for Moms in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So how do we do our rally and be able to benefit from that?
Well, you can actually, we're still working on this, but the goal is that each of our sister marches, depending on obviously if they can get the electronic capability, you'll actually be able to stream.
That would be awesome.
The march in DC, which would be ideal, but there's still so many details about that, and I'm not sure that the other locations will be able to pull it off in the manner, like bringing a big screen TV or something with you to the park might not be easy. But
how do you even get started on something like that? That would be awesome.
It would be. And we're trying, what we understand, it might be as simple as bringing out a laptop, right? Or people bring your laptops with you, charged laptops, and we can watch. You might be even able to watch on your phones. You will be able to watch on your phone. So, there's ways to make it happen, right? If you really want to.
Okay.
People gathering around about a dozen laptops could be just fine too, right?
Right.
So, all right, I'm going to just open it up. I'm kind of just yabbering my mouth off. So if you guys have specific questions that you came with or that have come up with in the process, please shoot, go for it.
I don't want to hog this. I have like a million questions.
Go for it. Typically, if you've got questions, somebody else has got the same question. So
that's why I'm anxious to hear what everybody else has too. One point you had made, which was kind of relieving of me because I'm more behind the scenes. I hate being in the limelight. So when you said having one person in charge with the media, so it sounds like there would be different avenues, which would take a lot of brunt off of those of us wanting to organize it. Is somebody in charge of media, somebody doing this, somebody.
absolutely.
So that's kind of the idea of how many people do you think could make it realistic for us to do this? How many reliable people do you think we need to?
I think that the minimum magic number is 3.
Really?
Yeah, that's the minimum. People have done it with 2. It depends on the level of event you're doing, right? It still varies, but if you got 5 people, you're going to be golden.
Yeah, now it's a matter of reaching, because I told them, I'm like, yeah, some of us has talked. I think we'll plan for next year. And they're like, okay. So now I have to go back and think, okay, can we do this?
Right.
Okay. That's a question.
Go for it. Just ask them away. Just go.
Okay. I guess I'm just trying to think like timeline and locations and sponsors. I do find that intimidating asking. I've done sports events and I usually do the ones that don't require me to have to get sponsors because it's just awkward for me to ask for money. But when you mention Walmart and asking them to contribute water and things, that wouldn't be a problem for me at all.
Mm-hmm.
So again, another person would be in charge of sponsors.
Yep. I was just going to say, if that's not what feels comfortable to you, find somebody who does feel comfortable with that. Right. And ask them to take care of that, pass that off. So, it's all about delegation.
Okay. And then the order of event of things, like would our first thing be finding a location and then find out, do we need to, because again, we don't know if we're going to have 5 people or 50 people.
Right.
We need to
stay. Let me just pull up the quick start guide because I think that'll help you. So I'll just show you this. Oh, got a screen share again. Hold on one second. So this is our quick start guide. This literally tells you what to do.
Oh, this is what I need, handhold.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Like it's a step-by-step, and the handbook, which is this. So this is the handbook. And you can see it's, so that's the quick start guide to look, but then we have this. This is here's step 1, join the private Facebook group, and here's how you do it. Step 2, assemble your team. Here's how you do it. Choose your location. Step 3, this is about the permits and liability insurance, what the event date is and your event page. We create your Facebook event page for you.
Ooh, okay, even that is crazy.
Because the reason that we do that is you'll see here, let's see if I can, if we go to, sorry if I have messages start popping up here.
And I like the dates when you have April 1st.
What's that?
I like you've got the dates. I'm very organized. I like organization. And
oh, yes. Yeah.
First are the green steps and then rally day.
Yes. Sorry.
You press release the day of the rally?
Well, say that again.
I was looking at notice step 10. You send out the press release the day of the rally?
The day of the rally and the day before the rally, typically. Press release is the last thing. You send a media alert, though, at least a week to 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. So there is a media alert that goes out that you want to do, which is different than the press release. But so this might take a little bit of time but okay, so here you go. So now this is why we create them for you, is because then they're attached to our Improving Birth website or web page. So anybody that is searching for an event will just be able to come to Improving Birth Facebook page and look it up. So then we just create, we create the page for you and then make you a host of this page.
Okay.
And then you get to put stuff in and market it and, all that sort of stuff. And in our, I'll show you the Facebook group because I think that's important to understand how crazy it is. So we have this Facebook group that everybody gets to join. We post constant reminders. Here you go. We're ordering t-shirts. I was telling you about that. So we post reminder about the event kit. Here's the link for your potential sponsors. We try to make it as easy as possible here. And then people here, this is cute. They did their first sign making party this weekend.
Are you showing pictures? I'm not seeing anything.
Oh, you're not?
Should I see click all photos? Are you seeing anything, Rebecca?
All I see is the quick start guide.
Oh, sorry guys. Jeez. Okay. Hold on one second. I think I didn't share my, there we go. Sorry about that. So I was showing you guys all kinds of things and not seeing any of it. Okay. So this is one of our local places did their first sign making party this weekend. Can you imagine this? So sign making parties alone are so much fun. You guys,
that would be a blast. Yeah.
Get a couple bottles of wine and some snacks and, and get to socialize and have fun. And it's a really good time. But, so this is our group, what I was saying. Oh, sorry. So this is the group. So we post reminders. We post links all the time. So here's your, link. So that, just easy, here's the link, just in case you can't find it in the handbook. We'll post pictures. They ask questions here. Oops, sorry. So here you go. Here's one person. They didn't have we have a drop-down menu for the sponsors and they just discovered their location wasn't in there. And so typically we respond within an hour, sometimes within minutes. We have 4 people as admins on this page. Most of us are night owls, so I've been even answering questions at 1:00 in the morning. So on this page, so we try really hard to really keep up on this and making sure that you feel supported. So you can see people are participating like crazy and asking questions. And what's great is what you guys are doing right now is inevitably somebody's asking something that somebody else wants to know too. So, or don't even know that they want to know, or need to know. So this is probably the most valuable thing, honestly, besides the kits. This page right here is very active. And even in years past, a lot of these people wind up being friends, right? Especially if they're close by and they'll, wind up connecting and it's a great community.
Right. And I'm feeling like we're already behind it. Everybody's had already done their signs.
Well, that's just one location, and that's amazing. I mean, people doing signs 6 weeks out is unheard of. Most people do it the week before.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So they're just way ahead of the game. I think they're just really excited. I don't know.
So I have a question about, you said to order the swag bags or whatever, that we should commit to raising $200 to $300. Is that so getting the certain sponsors that adds up to that amount for the bag?
However you get there. So here's the different kits. I'll just show you real quick. So these are the 3 different options. This kit A though is included in your registration fee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can just click A and just not even worry about it.
Okay.
If you want B and C, which of course it just increases the amount of stuff that you get.
Mm-hmm.
We ask that you raise at least $100 or more and raise $200 or more. And that's beyond your expenses, any reimbursable expenses, right? So that can be, we actually have, let me see if I can get there quickly without giving you guys a headache. I'll show you here's our fundraising. So we have a fundraising toolkit, but this is just getting started. So you can, again, like I said, you have the CrowdRise, which is your team fundraising page.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also do we ask you to set a fundraising goal, and you can get it through sponsors. Let me see if there's, you know what? Oh, here. So these are these are things that our other locations have done in the past to raise money outside of the sponsorships. So most people just go for sponsors because it's probably the path of least resistance. And it's just, it's giving people the opportunity to market their business for a really reasonable amount. It's not, so if they want to put a business card in the bag, in the gift bag, it's $25. It's not, it's not that much. A bigger bag, meaning they want a flyer or a postcard. So if somebody's got childbirth education things going on, and then if you decide to do exhibitors, it's only $75. It's not a huge expense. And they, and if they're a local nonprofit, they just only pay the $40. And if, so even if you don't do exhibitor tables, but just have the opportunity for people to put stuff in the bag, it's a good opportunity, right? And it's not an expensive one. So you can raise a couple $100 in a matter of minutes, right? With just with a handful of folks. So we've had locations that have raised, I think our location that raised the most was like about $7,000. But the average is about $200 to $300 for our location. So it's a really reasonable, it's not outrageous, but obviously the more you raise, the better it is for us as an organization. And I don't know if you guys have heard much about the Mother Friendly Hospital Certification Program.
A little bit, but
yeah, so we are, we're working on this. Well, we're working on the education piece for regular labor and delivery units, but we have actually begun our pilot program in 3 hospitals here and across the country for the alongside units, or the birth center units. They're going to be now called alongside units. We're moving to what Europe calls them. Because there's been a lot of conflict about birth centers, because birth centers was never defined, and now lots of labor and delivery, regular labor and delivery centers are calling themselves birth centers, which they're not. So we have to move to a new description, also for insurance purposes, which is a long story, and a pain in the butt. But we have 3 pilot locations. We're actually getting ready to do their site visits starting in May.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty exciting. There's, but we have to raise $250,000 to finish the education piece for regular labor and delivery rooms. So it's a lot of money, and it's a huge program, and it's getting a lot of legs. We already have 3 labor and delivery units that are considering joining us for certification, for accreditation. So if you look at the, there's a spot on our website. Let me just see.
And what part of California are you in, Dawn?
I'm in San Diego. There we go. So if you go to this page on our website, we have a bunch of details about what it is and what it means. And this is, it's still very preliminary, as you can imagine. There's a lot going on in the background, but not everything is here. But basically just what it is and what it means and the benefits to it and all that sort of stuff. So just know that this is what we're fundraising for. And I think we can all agree that could be really impactful. The main thing that we're raising money for right now, we need to raise about $45,000 specifically for a team of behavioral scientists to help us create, or we already have the education piece, but it's not built in a way that creates behavioral change, which to me is the most important. We can walk into hospitals with statistics and ACOG opinions and everything else and studies all day long.
Mhm.
but it doesn't necessarily mean that anyone's going to change their behavior.
Right.
And we have to dig deep into the behavioral background of all of these things that are outdated practices and why they're outdated, and address the pain points. And we need people who really understand the language that we need to use and the tactics we need to use in order to inspire real change. And so currently that's what we're fundraising for, is to bring in the people who really know how to do that, because that's the piece that's been missing for a long time in this movement. So hopefully that makes you feel inspired about wanting to go and raise some money and help us make that happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know,
Thank
I'd
you.
like to
And
follow you around for a week or so. And
what's that?
I said, I'd love to follow you around for a week or so and see all that you are involved in and doing. And
It's it's funny. I think that somebody sent me just the sweetest note yesterday. I'm my own worst critic. I beat myself up more than I think I'm doing a great job. So, I'm a perfectionist. And I'm, definitely a pessimist on the side of my capabilities. And so I question all the time, how good of a job I'm doing. And then I got, and it's moments like that where someone just sends you a message and said, my gosh, what you're doing is incredible. Like, this is amazing that you're even doing this, that you've been doing this. And, I just don't, it's so my life. It just is my life. And so I never think about it as this major thing that most people would never do, would never consider organizing an event all across the country.
I don't know how. Great thoughts or desires, but don't have the know-how. Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I had the know-how either. I just, I think I just was so frustrated and fed up. And, it's funny. I never thought of myself as an activist, until it was the first year of the rally, and somebody did an article on me, and they referred to me as a birth activist. And I read it and I thought, I'm a birth activist. Holy shit. Like, I did not know this. I did not know I was a birth activist. And really, I just had never, and then suddenly it all made sense. I was never really a doula. I was always a birth activist. And it's what made being a doula really difficult for me, because I am not somebody who can just stand there and hold a woman's hand and just stand by and watch things happen. And there were situations that I was confrontational with the provider or the nurse or whatever. And most of the time I bit my tongue, but there was some instances where I just couldn't, and after a few years, I knew too much to keep quiet anymore. Yeah. And I appreciate the people who have that ability, but I don't have it. And, I had to step away from being a doula, especially after I started Improving Birth. I tried to do a couple more births after that, but no, I just don't have the tolerance for it anymore. I don't have the tolerance to stand there and have someone be disrespectful to a patient or condescending to a patient and just ignore it. I don't have it in me anymore. Yeah. So, when you can be the one who's causing more friction in the labor and delivery room, you probably need to not be there anymore. And I needed to take my passion outside of that specific mama's room and take it to the consumers to start saying enough is enough. And I did a little rant a couple nights ago about doulas and understanding, like, doulas I don't think they understand often the unique perspective that they have. They are the only people in this industry that see in every capacity. They see it in birth centers, they see it in home birth, they see it in birth, they see it in multiple facilities in their communities with multiple doctors and multiple nurses, and they know the difference between a provider that is invested, engaged, versus the ones who aren't. We see it very clearly, and there is absolutely no excuse for the latter. None. we know that it's possible to treat a woman with respect. I'm not talking, I mean, it's, you know, we can talk about the interventions all day long, right? We're doing too many interventions, but really it comes down to the more I recognize what we do, it's less about the numbers as it is about the respect and the treatment that women are experiencing, the way they're being talked to makes a difference. And guess what? It also makes a difference when that person has, again, an invested feeling about this person, about the woman who's giving birth. And those numbers, the numbers will, if we fix the respect, we will fix the numbers.
Right.
Like,
True.
it just is, if we fix that first. So anyways, but I'll get off my soapbox anyways. Get off my soapbox. Does anybody else have any questions? I'm sorry, I'm rambling and going on and on. So Ashley, if you've got anything you want to say, or Michelle.
This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for hosting this. It's nice to hear what everybody else is doing. This is such an amazing resource you've built too for everyone to tap into to get this going.
Thank you.
Awesome.
It's one of those things that you don't know what it is until you actually see it. And it's difficult for me unless I'm in a situation like this where I'm live, that I can express what the value is in what we've built here. I mean, many people have seen this and then eventually said, you probably should sell this. It's definitely worth more than $60. So
This is amazing.
thank you. I appreciate it so much. It's a lot of work by a lot of people. I can't take full credit. That's for darn sure. So it's just other passionate people like me who, you know, want to see a difference.
Well, I really appreciate it too. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I hope you guys will consider joining us. This is the least amount of cities we've ever had. So far we've only got, I think, 38 locations, which is, I mean, we've normally had it over 50 every year, and most closer to 70 to 100 each year. You know, we need you as much as you need us at this point. You know, it's like, I desperately want people to care about this. And, you know, when I see all these people showing up for the Me Too movement and the March for Our Lives movement, it's just like, you know, like the impact of birth is so, and this is not to discount what's happening there, right? But what's happening in birth is so much larger of an impact globally for the generations to come. Like, I don't think people understand that. You know, it's like we keep talking about, like, birth matters. It really matters. It matters for everyone. And it matters for the health and well-being for our children for the rest of their lives and for the generations ahead of them. You know, their health and their well-being starts at birth. And we're just starting to really understand that. And as someone who's as passionate as I am about it, it's really difficult to not have people come out in droves and just, like, you know, like, it's so frustrating to not have people be like, yes, we need to, you know, we need a couple 100,000 of those people. So I really hope that you'll consider hosting an event, and not wait till next year, because we need your voices now. And yeah, the mamas need us, the babies need us.
Excited. Yeah, I'm thinking when I get off the phone, I'm going to start reaching out to some of those people. Like, okay, can we do it? Can we do this? Can we support each other, I guess?
I definitely feel encouraged to do it. So thank you for all the information.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, you guys. Go ahead.
If you can connect me with the other person interested in Seattle, maybe we could do it together, or maybe I could do one in Kirkland and they could do Seattle.
Rebecca, will you do me a favor and just message the main page and tell her that because Candace was messaging with her, so she can probably do that.
On your Facebook page?
Yeah, on the main Improving Birth page.
Okay.
Just message her and tell her that I told you to contact her because that you were interested in hosting a Seattle location also.
Okay.
And if you guys can connect, because then you guys could just be co-leaders together.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right.
Oh, I didn't even realize I was still sharing my screen. Sorry about that. Were you guys able to see me while I was yabbering, or just my screen?
No, we can see you.
Okay, good.
The right side, yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging in there. It's over an hour already, but I appreciate your time today and just your interest. And, ultimately, I know that you are dedicated to moms and babies and everything that you do every day, and that this is something extra, but hopefully it's something extra that makes a massive difference than, just one mama at a time. Yeah. All right, guys, have a great afternoon.
You too. Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.